Hello everyone, welcome back. This is my channel and it's called Hands on Your Shoulders. This channel is one that we take time to talk about addiction and recovery and sobriety. And in the last video I spoke about chaos and how it plays a role in your addiction. And so this one, I actually want to talk about like what that chaos might have been like. And so, for instance, one of the things that I often hear from people is that they'll say like, oh yeah, this person went from like 0 to, 100 like that, and it was instant. There was no, revving up or anything. It was just like, they were, nice and calm. And then all of a sudden they were just completely off the wall. And here's the thing about that I want you to understand. Like, there was at no point in time in whatever situation it was that the person was ever at 0. Okay. And what I mean by that is, like, people think that they're at 0 and they went to 100 just like that. They weren't at 0. They were at 60. And all they had to do was rev up to 100 and get up to 100. So that's a way shorter distance. So when a person is calm, it takes them a long time to get there. When they're alert, they're kind of, feeling out the situation, and and then they become a little more cautious. And when they're alarmed, the alarm bells are going off, they're in the yellow already. And then it is complete and total chaos, panic, whatever it is, anger, whatever, or however it is that they respond to whatever the situation is. They were never at 0, and that's the kind of thing of it. And so when you're speaking to someone and you think to yourself, yeah, it's like they were at, went from 0 to 100 just like that. Well, just keep in mind that more than likely they were never at 0. They were already revved up, and they were already primed and good to go and ready to go. So as soon as you actually kind of have that thought in mind, keep in mind, even for yourself, like, was I actually at 0? Maybe not. Maybe you already walked into the situation. You were like, okay, I need to be primed and ready to go if I need to. However that looks, whether it be to fight, flight, freeze, or, something else. So just keep in mind that when you are actually talking about that kind of situation, just realize that you were never at 0. They were never at 0. And that they were already revved up to, to go. Okay. That's that was kind of one of the points that I wanted to make about in regards to the chaos. And usually that chaos ties directly to their own traumas. Okay. And their own traumas are what primed them to that defensive mechanism, to whatever that mechanism is. Okay. So that can vary, from person to person and situation to situation, but it always goes to, their past, and whatever that trauma was and however that trauma looked, and it may be something that just totally triggers it, that you're like, what happened? I didn't even know that was going to happen, or I didn't even know that person was, capable of acting that way or doing that in the first place. So just keep in mind that more than likely it was their trauma that was already in place, and their trauma response and the chaos that they already live, already had them primed and ready to go for a response, so they were never at 0. All right. Or you were never at 0. All right. And other than that, thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Stay out of trouble. Have fun. And as always, play nice with the other kids.